The elegant dining room of the Riverside Country Club buzzed with the cheerful chaos of a family baby shower, pastel decorations adorning every surface while 3 generations of accomplished women celebrated my sister's impending motherhood. Amanda Foster sat at the center of it all, her designer maternity dress perfectly complementing the lavish gifts surrounding her chair, radiating the confident glow of someone accustomed to being the family's golden child. As the successful vice president of marketing for a Fortune 500 pharmaceutical company, Amanda had mastered the art of commanding attention while maintaining an air of effortless superiority. Today's celebration provided the perfect stage for her latest performance in our long-running family drama about professional achievement and personal worth. The nursery design is finally complete, Amanda announced to the gathered relatives, displaying photographs on her tablet with the practiced efficiency of a corporate presentation. We imported the furniture from Italy, commissioned custom artwork from a children's book illustrator, and installed a state-of-the-art air filtration system. Only the best for little Harrison. Our mother, Patricia, beamed with pride as she examined the nursery photos. Amanda has always had such sophisticated taste. She understands that creating the right environment from birth is crucial for a child's development. It's wonderful to see someone who thinks strategically about parenting. The comment carried its usual undertone, a subtle reminder that not everyone in the family demonstrated such forward-thinking approaches to life planning. I sat quietly at a corner table, wearing my simple blue dress and observing the familiar dynamics that had defined our relationship for 31 years. My Aunt Carol, a successful pediatrician who had recently retired from private practice, joined the conversation with professional authority. Amanda's absolutely right about environmental factors. The first few months are critical for infant development. Having optimal conditions from the beginning can make a significant difference in cognitive and physical outcomes. That's exactly what I've been reading, Amanda replied, her voice taking on the authoritative tone she'd perfected during years of pharmaceutical marketing. I've researched everything: optimal room temperature, specialized lighting, premium organic cotton bedding. I'm not leaving anything to chance. The discussion continued with various family members contributing their expertise about infant care, child development, and parenting strategies. My cousin Jennifer, a successful child psychologist, offered insights about early childhood stimulation. My sister-in-law Maria, mother of 3 accomplished teenagers, shared her experience with creating nurturing home environments. Through it all, I maintained my role as the appreciative audience, occasionally asking questions or offering supportive comments about Amanda's preparations. The truth was that her attention to detail and research-driven approach to parenting impressed me, though my professional perspective on infant care came from a very different direction than anyone realized. My phone buzzed with a text from my chief of staff. Level 4 NICU expansion approved. New equipment arrives Monday. Board meeting Thursday to discuss pediatric cardiac surgery program. I glanced at it briefly before returning my attention to the ongoing celebration. The mood shifted when Amanda decided to address what she clearly considered the elephant in the room: my presence at a gathering focused on sophisticated parenting approaches. Rachel, I hope you don't mind my asking, but what exactly do you do at the hospital? Amanda's question carried the tone of someone who already knew the answer but wanted to establish it publicly. I mean, I know you work in healthcare, but I've never really understood your specific role. The question drew the attention of the entire gathering, creating the kind of moment Amanda excelled at orchestrating. I could feel the weight of family curiosity as relatives leaned forward to hear my response to this very public inquiry. I work in neonatal care, I replied simply, though I knew this answer would prompt further questions designed to establish the hierarchy between Amanda's corporate success and my presumably modest healthcare employment. Amanda nodded thoughtfully, her expression mixing false concern with genuine condescension. That's sweet, Rachel. So you like a nurse or a technician? Taking care of premature babies must be emotionally challenging work. Something like that, I confirmed, unwilling to elaborate in a setting where complex explanations would likely be dismissed or misunderstood. Our mother joined the conversation with her characteristic blend of maternal pride and subtle disappointment. Rachel has always been the nurturing one in the family. She chose healthcare because she wanted to help people, which is admirable, but she never developed the business instincts that lead to real professional advancement. Amanda laughed, the sound carrying just enough edge to make her point clear. Mom's being diplomatic. Let's be honest, Rachel is essentially a glorified janitor in scrubs. She cleans up medical messes and follows protocols created by real doctors. It's honest work, but it's not exactly intellectually challenging. The observation drew polite laughter from several relatives, though I noticed my Aunt Carol looking uncomfortable with the characterization. As a retired pediatrician, she understood healthcare hierarchies better than the corporate executives dominating this conversation. The pharmaceutical industry has given me such appreciation for healthcare complexity, Amanda continued, clearly enjoying her audience's attention. The research and development process, regulatory approval pathways, market analysis, that's where the real intellectual work happens in medicine. Direct patient care is basically just implementing other people's innovations. My cousin Jennifer nodded approvingly. Amanda's right about the intellectual hierarchy in healthcare. Strategic thinking happens at the corporate and research level. Patient care is more about following established procedures and maintaining basic cleanliness standards. The conversation continued in this vein for another hour, with Amanda and her supporters elaborating on the distinction between real medical work, research, development, marketing, strategic planning, and basic patient care, which they characterized as primarily custodial and procedural. Through this extended analysis, I maintained my composure, occasionally asking questions about Amanda's pharmaceutical marketing work or expressing interest in her parenting research. The truth was far more complex than they could imagine, but their assumptions had become so deeply entrenched that contradicting them seemed pointless. The celebration was interrupted by Amanda's phone ringing urgently. Her expression shifted from confident hostess to concerned expectant mother as she listened to the caller, her face growing increasingly pale. "What do you mean irregular contractions? I'm only 34 weeks. Yes, I'll come immediately," she said, gathering her belongings hastily while trying to maintain composure in front of her guests. The family gathering transformed instantly from celebration to crisis as Amanda explained that she was experiencing premature labor contractions and needed to go to the hospital immediately. The sophisticated nursery preparations and research-driven parenting plans suddenly seemed secondary to the immediate medical emergency threatening her pregnancy. "Which hospital?" I asked, though I already suspected the answer based on Amanda's insurance coverage and her obstetrician's practice location. "Metropolitan General," Amanda replied, her pharmaceutical industry confidence replaced by the vulnerability of any expectant mother facing unexpected complications. "Dr. Williams says they have the best neonatal intensive care unit in the region." I nodded, familiar with both the facility and Dr. Williams' reputation. "That's good. You'll be in excellent hands there." The drive to Metropolitan General was tense, with Amanda alternating between timing contractions and making urgent phone calls to her husband, who was traveling for business and racing to catch the next flight home. The family caravan following behind included our mother, Aunt Carol, and several cousins, all united in concern for Amanda and her unborn baby. We arrived at the hospital's maternal-fetal medicine unit as the sun was setting, the specialized wing designed for high-risk pregnancies and premature births. Amanda was immediately admitted for evaluation and monitoring, with Dr. Williams explaining that while the contractions had slowed, the baby showed signs of distress that might require immediate delivery. Hours passed in the waiting room as Amanda's labor progressed unpredictably. At 34 weeks gestation, baby Harrison would need specialized neonatal intensive care if delivered prematurely. The sophisticated nursery preparations seemed irrelevant now, replaced by concerns about ventilators, incubators, and survival rates. At 2:47 a.m., Harrison Foster was born weighing 3 pounds, 2 ounces, requiring immediate respiratory support and transfer to the neonatal intensive care unit. The family gathered outside the NICU, watching through glass windows as tiny Harrison was connected to various life support systems and monitoring equipment. Dr. Martinez, the attending neonatologist, approached the family with the measured tone doctors use when discussing critical cases. "Harrison is stable but requires significant respiratory support. His lungs are underdeveloped, which is normal for his gestational age, but we need to make some important decisions about his care plan." Amanda, still recovering from delivery but fully alert with maternal concern, focused intently on every word. "What kind of decisions? What does he need?" "Potentially advanced life support, specialized medications, and possibly surgical intervention if complications develop. However, given the complexity and cost of prolonged NICU care, Any major treatment decisions require approval from our NICU director. Our mother, her corporate background driving her need for immediate action, asked the obvious question, how quickly can we get that approval? Harrison needs the best possible care. Dr. Martinez consulted his tablet, checking the on-call schedule and approval protocols. Actually, I have good news. Our NICU director is here tonight supervising several critical cases. Dr. Rachel Foster can review Harrison's case immediately if you'd like to proceed with advanced care options. The silence that followed was profound. Amanda stared at Dr. Martinez with an expression of complete confusion, while our mother looked back and forth between the neonatologist and me as if trying to process information that didn't align with her understanding of reality. Dr. Rachel Foster. Amanda whispered. But that's my sister. Rachel, you're not a director. You're a technician or a nurse or something. Dr. Martinez looked genuinely puzzled by the confusion. Dr. Foster is our director of neonatal intensive care and one of the leading neonatologists in the region. She'll be personally overseeing Harrison's care team and making all major treatment decisions. I approached Harrison's isolette, reviewing his monitors and ventilator settings with the practiced eye of someone who had managed thousands of similar cases. The tiny baby who would have benefited from his mother's carefully researched nursery environment was now depending entirely on technology and medical expertise to survive his first days of life. Respiratory distress syndrome with some cardiac irregularities, I observed, studying his chest X-rays and blood gas results. We'll need to adjust his ventilator settings and consider surfactant therapy. The cardiac issues are minor but require monitoring. Dr. Martinez nodded approvingly. Dr. Foster pioneered several of the protocols we use for premature cardiac complications. Harrison is in the best possible hands. As I made notations on Harrison's chart and discussed treatment options with the NICU team, Amanda remained frozen outside the nursery, watching her sister, the glorified janitor in scrubs, make life-and-death decisions about her premature son's care. Rachel, Amanda's voice was barely audible through the intercom system, you're going to take care of Harrison? I'm going to lead the team that takes care of Harrison, I confirmed, adjusting his oxygen levels and reviewing his medication schedule. He's got excellent chances for a full recovery with proper support. The following days brought a complete transformation in our family dynamic. As Harrison gradually improved under the care protocols I'd developed, Amanda began to understand that the sister she dismissed as intellectually inferior was actually responsible for innovations in neonatal care that were used by NICUs across the country. The glorified janitor she'd mocked was actually Dr. Rachel Foster, whose research on premature cardiac development had been published in major medical journals and whose treatment protocols had improved survival rates for thousands of premature infants. Amanda's sophisticated nursery preparations seemed less impressive when compared to the NICU environment I'd designed, equipped with technology that could sustain life in babies born months before their due dates. The pharmaceutical marketing expertise she'd celebrated paled beside the clinical knowledge required to keep premature infants alive and thriving. Rachel, I owe you an enormous apology, Amanda said one evening as we watched Harrison breathing independently for the first time since his birth. I had no idea what your work actually involved. Amanda, you weren't wrong about me working in healthcare. You were wrong about assuming you understood what that work entailed and its relative importance. Harrison's recovery was exceptional, thanks to early intervention and the specialized care protocols implemented by my team. As he grew stronger and approached discharge weight, Amanda often reflected on the irony of their situation. Some sibling relationships are complicated by assumptions and misunderstandings that persist until crisis forces revelation. Ours was simplified by the recognition that when her son's life hung in the balance, the sister she dismissed as a glorified janitor was the person with the knowledge and authority to save him. The sophisticated nursery Amanda had prepared welcomed Harrison home 6 weeks later, but not before both of us understood that the most important early childhood environment had been the NICU I'd designed and the medical team I'd trained to give premature babies their best chance at life.